Forrest Gump made over $700 million at the box office. It won Best Picture. It's one of the most beloved films of all time. The writer was promised 3% of the net profits. He never got a single dollar, not one. Star Wars: Return of the Jedi made $475 million in 1983. The studio says it has never been profitable. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix made almost $1 billion. Warner Brothers claims it lost $167 million. How does this happen? How do some of the most successful films in human history end up losing money? Well, kinda, they don't. But the studios have figured out how to make it look like they do. It's called Hollywood accounting. Back in the golden age, actors could negotiate what's called gross pay. That meant you got a percentage of the box office revenue. Money comes in, you get your cut, simple. Warren Beatty negotiated 40% gross for Bonnie and Clyde because Warner Brothers thought the movie would bomb. It made $70 million. Warren took home $28 million, and somewhere in a Warner Brothers office, an executive realized they'd made a catastrophic mistake. So studios invented a new type of deal: net profit participation. Instead of paying actors from the gross revenue, they'd pay them from the net profits, meaning after all expenses are accounted for. Sounds fair, right? You make a movie, you spend money making it, and then you split whatever's left over. It incentivizes everyone to work hard, promote the film, make it successful. Everybody wins. Except the studios realized something beautiful. If you control what counts as an expense, you can make the profits disappear. You want to see how this works? Good, because you and I are about to make a movie together. Let's say I'm a YouTuber who just got a massive studio deal. I'm making my first big-budget film, and I'm so grateful for my community that I'm casting you, yes, you who watching this, as the lead. You're perfect for the role, and you negotiate 10% of the net profits. Seems fair. The movie's going to make bank, and you're going to get paid. You're already planning what you'll do with the money. Here's our budget. $10 million for production. That's paying the crew, cameraman and locations, feeding everyone, transportation, all the normal stuff that goes into making a movie. Then another $10 million for marketing, trailers, billboards, TV spots, paying influencers to pretend they care. Total money spent, $20 million. The movie comes out and it's a massive hit. It makes $100 million at the box office. You do the math. We spent $20 million. We made $100 million, so we profited $80 million. 10% of that is $8 million coming your way. You're already looking at houses. But here's where I become the most creative person in Hollywood. Not the director, not the writer. Me, the accountant. First, movie theaters take their cut. That's real. Theaters need to stay in business, so they keep about 40% of ticket sales. That's $40 million gone. We're down to $60 million. You're still getting $6 million though, right? Hold on. Let me check the receipts. See, during production, we went through a lot of equipment. Cameras, lights, sound gear, normal film stuff. But here's the thing. I happen to own a separate company that rents film equipment. Some might call it a shell corporation. What a coincidence. So my production company rented equipment from my other company, and I charged, let's say $15 million for rentals. Yeah, that's a completely reasonable rate. Don't think about it too hard. We're at $75 million in expenses now. We only made $25 million in profit. You're still getting something though, $2.5 million. Not bad. Oh wait, I forgot. We used some of the same studio space and crew as my other film, that art house drama I made about a guy watching paint dry. It lost $30 million because, shockingly, nobody wanted to watch that. But since we shared resources between these two productions, I'm going to take $10 million of that loss and add it to our expenses here. It's called allocation. It's a real accounting term, which makes it sound legitimate. Now we're at $85 million in expenses. We made $15 million in profit. You're getting $1.5 million. Still pretty good, honestly. One more thing. Where did that initial $10 million production budget come from? I had to borrow it, obviously. Conveniently from another company I own also. And I charged myself a completely fair interest rate of, 50%. And since the movie took 3 years to make between production and post-production, that interest really stacked up. Add another $20 million in interest payments. Final tally, the movie lost $5 million. I'm so sorry. There are no net profits to distribute. You get nothing. But hey, great exposure, right? Your Instagram followers probably went up. Now, everything I just described sounds absurd. It sounds illegal, but it's not. These are all real tactics that studios actually use, and we know about them because sometimes the accounting gets exposed in lawsuits. In 2010, someone leaked the actual financial documents for Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. A Warner Bros. Subsidiary loaned Warner Bros. Money at 30% interest to produce the film. They loaned money to themselves, then they charged that interest as a production expense. Over the years, that interest somehow cost $57 million. They literally created money out of thin air and then claimed it as a loss. And you may be like boohoo millionaire actors who got screwed. But here is the thing. At least Tom Hanks and the Tolkien estate can afford lawyers. They can take these giant corporations to court and settle in hush money. But this practice becomes really insidious when you think about the working supporting actors, the writers, the crew members who negotiated a small percentage thinking it would be their big break. People who can't afford to sue. People who sign these contracts because what choice do they have? They want to make art. They want to tell stories. So they take the deal and hope this time will be different. Then streaming happened and made everything worse. Before, actors could at least make money on residuals when shows went into syndication. But Netflix doesn't do syndication. Streaming movies don't go to theaters. Those few income streams just vanished. Every major Hollywood union has had to strike in recent years because the system is designed to extract maximum value while paying minimum wage. But maybe, and I mean maybe, things might actually change. Not because studios suddenly grew a conscience, but because they started doing it to each other. TSG Entertainment invested $3.3 billion into over 100 Disney and Fox films. Then Disney and Fox allegedly used these same accounting tricks to short them hundreds of millions. When corporations start cannibalizing each other instead of just artists, the tactics become harder to hide. The lawsuit got settled out of court, but it set a precedent. The thing is, Hollywood accounting is perfectly legal. The loopholes exist in plain sight. Everyone knows about them. Agents warn their clients. Lawyers try to write airtight contracts. But the studios wrote the rules, and they can rewrite them whenever they want. And that's how they lose money on movies which gross over $1 billion.